Hey everyone, Silas back again with another video. Today I'm going to be talking with you guys about habits, healthy habits and unhealthy habits. More specifically, healthy habits and why we need them. So, why do we need a healthy habit? Well, a habit is obviously something that you do every day, but it can be good or bad for you. So, if, like I've said in the past couple videos, there's a cumulative effects, the things that we do every day. So, if you have a negative habit that you are performing every day, more often than not, there is a cumulative negative side effects. So, like for example, if you're smoking cigarettes every day, over time, at first you won't notice anything, but if you give it, a couple months of smoking cigarettes steadily, you'll notice stains on your teeth and your breath will start to stink and it'll be hard to breathe. So it's, the idea essentially is that with every habit that we form, there is a long-term outcome. Just like I've said in the other videos too, with accountability and strength and all that, this kind of ties all into it too. And being strong enough to put in healthy habits instead of, performing bad habits every day out of, simple habit, you know what I mean? And so if we can take the time to recognize what our negative habits are, what our addictions are, what our vices are, it'll be a lot easier to get a grip on our mental health and the way we live our lives and the way we articulate ourselves too. Since I've been forming healthy habits, a lot of my day-to-day has changed. It has become a lot easier to focus too, even when I become distracted. So if I take one day out of my week where I'm spending too much time on a piece of technology, I'm able to recognize that behavior because I have been putting in the work in my habits and been putting in the work in the self-actualization and, self-realization. So really, it's kind of a priceless thing. And also this, leads back into the idea of a circadian rhythm, which is like, forming a rhythm for yourself every day is healthy for the mind and the soul, in my opinion. When we, like I said in the last video, we're still in hunter-gatherer mode. So, I'm assuming that, a couple hundred years ago, or maybe even, thousands of years ago when humans were still around and we were, hunting and with spears and, bows and arrows, we had a rhythm too. We had habits, we would wake up and do the same thing. Obviously no hunt would turn out the same, and that's what I think really the idea of, why we have the habits in the first place is so we have strength for when it is time to hunt, when it is time to put ourselves out there, when it is time to take the next step in our lives, or when it's time to go for that job interview, or, ask that pretty girl out, or, go to a party when you haven't been out to a party in, a year and a half, 2 years. There is a lot of reasons subconsciously, I think, as to why we form habits in the first place. And I think it's just because it adds a layer of comfort too, and a layer of self-reassurance. And like I've said in one of my previous videos, being able to show up for yourself. If you're able to show up to your habits every day, then you can show yourself that you are worth it and that you are, worth putting your energy into, especially when you see the long-term results of said positive habits, I guess really it's just, a matter of, keeping an eye on what we're doing every day. It's like I said in the last video, where it's like, what are we exposing ourselves to that's negative? Well, what can we do that's positive habitually to counteract the negativity in our life? There's a lot of things that we can do. I'll list off a few right now. So we got exercise, right? You've got meditation, you've got focused study, you've got reading, you've got going for walks, you got eating healthy, unprocessed and holistic foods, sleeping 8, 9, 10 hours a night is very, very valuable. Some of the richest and most smart people on this planet sleep in excess of 8 hours. Albert Einstein slept almost 10 to 11 hours a day. And so really, things that are, basic, basically, they're basic, it's essential. It's kind of what's already known. So, do what you know will make you feel good. We already know that eating holistically or sleeping really well or avoiding sugar, or avoiding alcohol or tobacco or cannabis will help us to feel in a better mind state long term. So I recommend, harnessing that and harnessing the realization of, what habits am I doing to affect my life in a certain way? And that's the question I want you to ask yourself is, what habits do I have formed, and how can I change those habits to better my life in a positive way, instead of forming these unhealthy habits that oftentimes society tells us will fix our problems when, it really doesn't. It's just like, capitalism is just chasing the next high, but it's not gonna really change anything. So yeah, form yourself some healthy habits. Keep an eye on what habits you're performing every day that might be negative for you, like playing video games for an excess of 1 hour a day, or, allowing yourself to drink 1 soda a day. Like, those are things that are inherently negative, and people allow themselves to do that. It's like, oh, I'll just have that, I'll just do that. But like, it's not bringing you anything. It's not. And it never brought me anything, so I don't think it'll bring you anything. And I want to see everyone do well, and I want to see people do better for themselves. So, yeah, watch what you're doing, and keep an eye on your habits. Make sure they're good for you, and not just, because they feel good. So that's it. That's all I gotta say.